I'm talking about our first few months. We would have the Monday meeting, and then we'd maybe not have it one time afterwards. And we realized very, very quickly that the pattern of a week with that staple in it was very, very different than the one without.
Absolutely.
And so we were like, nope, this is our thing. We will do it every single time, and we will never stop.
Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. This is the place where we answer your real-life marketing questions so you can grow your business, eliminate waste in advertising, and achieve the big dream. I'm your host, Brandon Welch, and I'm here with my co-host, Caleb Quad Club Agee. Ladies and gentlemen, Caleb has joined the Quad Club.
It is happening.
What is the Quad Club?
What is the Quad Club? It means that I will have 4 niños in mi casa.
And see, your mi casa. Niños in your mi casa.
In my house.
4 little babies.
Little ones.
Caleb has a beautiful family. The Agee family has been part of my family ever since Frank and Maven has been a thing.
Yes.
And guys, we are like 1 week away from being 10 years old. So it's so cool. The coolest thing about being a small company is you can see people grow and just go through the different phases of life. Caleb, you're an awesome father.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so proud to learn from you.
We've got a little girl on the way.
Little girl.
So very exciting.
Are we sharing names or?
Yeah, we can go with it. It is Eva Jo.
Eva Jo. Love it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we also have 4. We're in the Quad Club.
Yes.
I'm so excited to see you.
You beat me there.
We beat you there.
It was
a race.
Your pace was a little quicker than mine.
Yes.
But
yes, I have 10, 8, 7, and 6, and you're going to have.
I will have 8, 5, 3 or 2, and 0.
Amazing.
Yeah. There you go.
Prayers be with you. That is Caleb's big dream. We're going to talk about your big dream today. And so it is a new year. Everybody's in this new year, new me moment. And, statistically, about 3.5 weeks into the new year, this energy, this high we come back into the office with just starts to wear down. Mm-hmm. And so that is the thing we'd all like to keep going.
Yes.
And so this episode is all about keeping New Year's momentum alive.
Yeah.
How do you keep that energy and refresh that beyond just a seasonal bliss where you've had people probably out for a couple weeks, slowing down, and now they're just energized? But how do you keep that energy going in your company?
Yeah.
And Caleb is the steward of our culture and our structure here. And so he has observed 3 things that we've done to do that over the years.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that you get to implement this in your business today so people stay refreshed, people stay bought in, people stay excited to come to work, and Monday isn't a dread.
Yeah.
And, nobody is perfect, but these are things we've clung to over the years, and they serve us very, very well.
Yeah. It's really interesting. This is the first Monday that you're probably at work. Last Monday was New Year's Day, right? But it's really interesting. I hear people at other companies, and they say, oh, Monday. It's like it's the worst day of the week.
Yeah.
I genuinely get excited about Mondays. It's one of my favorite days of the week. And that's that actually
I can say the same.
Yeah. And it's surprising to me when people are like, oh, I don't really want to do that. It's somewhere probably in the middle of the week would be my least favorite day if I had to pick one. But
Nate the camera guy, call me a liar if this isn't true, but I think FM team generally looks forward to Mondays.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Monday's a good thing. So we're going to talk about how we do that and refresh energy and keep momentum in your company all the way through next December. And with that, we have 3 tips. Give us number 1.
Number 1 is come together every week as a team. I feel like you need to give me a low D bass line.
Boom, boom, boodle bow.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
come together
every week as a team. All right. So we've done this literally for 10 years. I do not think we've missed a Monday morning meeting, or in the case of a long weekend, a Tuesday morning meeting.
Yes. We had it on Tuesday last week
Yes.
because we were off.
It's our MMM.
Mm-hmm.
We are there at what time, Nate the camera guy?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. I'm serious. There's nothing that trumps this.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we have clients in town for a special thing, even when Caleb or I have to be out for a personal thing, it goes on.
We appoint somebody else to lead it.
We appoint somebody.
Yeah.
The magic of this, I think, is that there's no more than a week that goes by without people aligning to some sort of structure.
Yeah. And in the early days, 10 years ago, I think I'm talking about our first few months. We would have the Monday meeting, and then we'd maybe not have it one time afterwards. And we realized very, very quickly that the pattern of a week with that staple in it was very, very different than the one without.
Absolutely.
And so we were like, nope, this is our thing. We will do it every single time, and we will never stop.
So we have a very specific way this has gone on for at least 9 years, if not like 9.5. We got this slide deck, and we, other than maybe a visual here too, there we don't change it, right?
Yeah.
So, what do we start with, Caleb?
We always start with wins.
Wins.
Personal wins from the last 7 days, so 1 week, and it can't be about work.
Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate.
Yes.
And if you don't come to the meeting with a win, that just doesn't happen. Everybody knows. I bet everybody's thinking about it driving in. What's my win? And man, just the magic of that gratitude. It's really a moment of gratitude. And it could be things show up on. It could be like, I got to spend a special hour with one of my kids. Or my wife and I had a wonderful date night.
Mm-hmm.
Or Nate the camera guy bought a new car.
Yep.
Or my dog is no longer sick.
Mm-hmm.
Or went to a concert.
Yeah.
Or made a cool new recipe. And it's got to be from your personal life. That is the first 20 minutes of our week together.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the stuff from the weekend before comes up. And that is two things. One, it just sets a pace of good feelings.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm in work. It's like, no, that's a transition from life to work.
Yeah.
The second thing it does is it creates an awareness and a shared experience within the team.
Yes. Yeah, it's an immediate catch-up moment for everybody to understand usually what happened to them last week.
Yes.
And it's such a cool thing because then you have that rapport already that would happen maybe on accident at the coffee pot or something on the way, or the water cooler.
For extroverted people.
Yeah.
And for, like, if you're thinking of a big organization especially, like, there's some people that just don't talk about their things, like, and they might be a little bit more, maybe not negative, but they're just a little more reserved.
Yeah.
And so introverts, extroverts alike.
And everybody enjoys it. It's not like pulling teeth or anything like that. It's fun.
Yes.
After that, we move from our personal wins to somebody says our vision statement out loud.
What's our vision statement, Nate the camera guy? What kind of world are we creating?
We're creating a world where entrepreneurs can confidently grow their business without wasting money on advertising. That
is the Kool-Aid here at Frank and Maven.
Yep.
We take a drink all together.
Yes.
It's on the screen. Somebody says it.
Somebody says it. Yep. We usually just pick on somebody.
Yes.
And we
usually
say,
the new guy.
Yeah. Usually the new guy.
And if they miss it the first time, they won't the second. Right?
Daniel's been the new guy around here.
Yep.
We're like, hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
What's the world we're creating? So we do that, and then we pivot to work wins. So in the same way as we did personal wins, we move to work wins because we've now talked about our shared purpose. What are we all here to do together?
Yes.
And then how did we win in that last week?
Shared purpose in a business changes everything.
Yep.
We are not coming to work to make ads. We're not coming to work to cut videos. We're not coming to work to turn knobs on TV and digital platforms and all that stuff. We are coming to work to save entrepreneurs from wasted money on advertising and help them confidently grow their business. Yeah. That's the world. Without Frank and Maven, that wouldn't exist for literally at this point thousands. By the way, we are over 1,000 YouTube subscribers.
Whoa. Yeah, it's hard to get a round of applause with three people in the room.
But catch that dotted eighth note?
Yeah, I like it.
All right, cool.
That's good.
Thank you so much for listening. But that was actually a win for us this week. We hit 1,000 subscribers like Monday morning.
Yep. It's continued to climb.
Yeah,
it keeps.
We
climbing.
may be even at 1,500.
Yeah.
So we've got some videos that are kind of being promoted on different channels, and we're getting new entrepreneurs into our mix, and that is such a big part of our mission. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But shared purpose. If we're not serving you one-to-one, we are still creating a world with this podcast, with our books, with our training events, with our social media posts. We're creating a world where entrepreneurs can confidently grow.
Yeah. So after we move from those work wins, we usually have what we call the solid rock. So we have this ugly little moss ball that was just a piece of decoration.
It was an ill-purchased
you just sit it in the corner, right? Yeah. It's way worse than anything you're going to see behind us. And so we grabbed that. Yes. And what was the saying that we had? A solid
rock doesn't collect.
Gathers no moss.
A rolling stone collects. Sorry.
Get it.
A rolling stone collects no moss, but a solid rock collects a lot of moss.
Would have a lot of
moss.
Same
place. Yeah. So you can't move this solid rock.
We should have grabbed it so you have a visual.
The camera guy's going to go grab it. We're going to show it to you by the end of this segment.
We named him Edgar.
Yep.
Just because.
Yep.
And the goal of that is whoever had it last week. Yes. I think you have it this week, actually. And
I've been watching.
And you will pick somebody on Monday morning, and you will acknowledge that they did an awesome job. They were a solid rock last week. Do a little 30-second speech, and you throw it at them. and they catch it and everybody claps.
Yes.
It's a beautiful moment.
Yeah. And it's just, we kind of use the filter of who's upholding one of our core values or who has just done an exceptional thing, right?
Yeah.
And it could be for any given reason. And it's up to the holder to pick the next holder of it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So after that, we go into some administrative things. We do a financial dashboard. We look at our billing for the month. There's Edgar. He just showed up. If you're on the, listen to audio, you're going to have to jump over to YouTube, hit subscribe while you're there. Give us some thumbs ups and grab this video so you can see Edgar.
Yes, you might even get Edgar next.
Yeah, who knows?
Solid Rock Award.
And so we move into some administrative things. We do a financial dashboard. We look at prospective clients and what phase they're in. It's a big deal when we take on a new partnership.
Yes.
And so we all acknowledge the ones we are actively talking to because it's two-sided, right? We want to make sure they want to work with us, but we got to make sure we can do our best work for them. And so that's a very intentional part of the process. Then we talk about our week. Riley, our office coordinator, goes over our week and the calendar and making sure everybody knows what's going on.
Yes.
And then we usually reserve 15 or 30 minutes to go over some sort of training or a new process or revisit a process we've had that needs shored up.
New happenings in an ad world or a digital platform that's changed.
We'll watch a video of somebody that we know is further along in the marketing world than we are or pursuing something in a specialized space. Yeah.
Yep. So we learn together, right?
We learn together and then we end with our values.
We believe in saying what needs to be said, even if you don't want to hear it.
We believe this is going to be fun. We say this one every podcast. Marketers who can't teach you why are just a fancy lie.
We believe in filling one glass at a time.
We believe if ads don't bring smiles, fists, or tears, they fall on deaf ears.
We believe if we're not growing you, we are using you.
We believe the best friendships are forged around fires and food.
Those are the 6 core values of Frank and Maven. You should have some, and they should be things that are actionable and that people can actually observe. Not we believe in honesty and integrity, but believe in some sort of outcome.
Yes.
And every person in the room eventually goes around and says those, right?
Yep.
So I'm just going to recap this real quick. Start with personal wins. Transition to company value and vision statements out loud. Everybody needs to hear you guys say why you're here. Then you go to work wins. Then you go Solid Rock Award, who has done a big special work win, who's been exhibiting the character that we want in the company. Financial dashboard, you guys should be reviewing some sort of KPI with your people. Hopefully it's something that relates to the bottom line somehow so everybody can have shared purpose there. We go through our week. We look at what's going to be challenging with the week ahead. Everybody sees it. I know if Nate the camera guy's got a crazy week, so I'm aware if, maybe more if I should bother him or not, right? Or how can I help him? And that promotes team helping each other. Learn something for about half an hour together. Go through a training topic, always make each other better, and end with your values.
Then everybody gets up.
I
always end it. Nate, do you remember how I always end it? I say, guess what, guys?
It's going to be a great week.
It's going to be a great week.
Yes.
That is literally how it ends every single time.
You're running a television program. And in our case, guys, we spend thousands of dollars and hours and effort. Like, this is a 2-hour meeting every week.
Yeah.
And that is expensive, right?
It's very expensive.
Nate the camera guys are expensive. Audrey's and Leslie's and Riley's are expensive.
Yes.
But we do this because it pays such a dividend. So that is how you start your week the same way. Come together every week as a team.
Yes. Can you kick off number 2 for us?
Go through challenges together. This is number 2. You want to keep momentum alive in your company, you need to go through challenges together. Life is going to give you enough like work challenges and that whole trauma bonding experience with the people you're closest with. And maybe that's your friends. Hopefully at some point that's your coworkers. But we try to make positive challenges. And when we're all working together for development of something together, we learn from each other, we watch each other, and it builds this kind of respect and observation of each other.
Yeah.
And there's no better way, I think, to learn and just connect with your team, the people you spend a large amount of your life with, than to do something that is beyond the work.
Yeah.
And so we've done this in a lot of ways over the years. It started as 100-day goals.
Yes.
And everybody had to report on their 100-day goal. And we go back to that every once in a while.
Yes. It also creates, having these challenges to go through together, it also creates the good kind of accountability.
The good kind of accountability.
And I think that accountability's got a bad rap right now in general, but the good kind of accountability is Brandon, I know what you're trying to get to, what you're trying to do, and I'm going to check in with you on Monday morning and
Yes.
say, hey, how's that coming along? And
Yes.
then you have to say, ooh,
Mm.
I didn't do so good, or hey, I'm crushing it right now.
Over the years, I've literally seen in our team, and these are their words, not mine. But
Yeah.
we've seen the outcome. We've seen people quit addictions.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen people save their marriages, literally go back to a person that they were going to divorce.
Yeah.
We have seen people get out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen people buy houses years ahead of when they thought they were going to.
Yes.
We have seen people improve their faith. We've
Yeah.
seen probably thousands of pounds lost.
Yeah.
And ounces of water drinking.
Drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
And it creates this momentum when you see somebody else doing well. It's not this, jealousy factor. It's like, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
And it's inspiration in its healthiest form. And so go through challenges together. You as the leader set the pace for this. You say, guys, we're not doing this to shame anybody. We're not doing this to make anybody feel anything except for empowered and inspired. And that's why the team chooses the challenge generally.
Yes.
They choose their thing.
Yes.
And all you're doing is saying, dude, I don't care if you want to get better at like Dungeons and Dragons. That's cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to do that? And if there is a challenge, it's like, give us an update.
Yeah.
And so they build the framework. They sort of build the check-ins. And I will say this. Sometimes this challenge leads to people discovering that they want to work somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
That's okay.
that's okay. Because if we're not as a team, if we're not as a company, if we're not as a brand growing you instead of growing you, like improving your life, then we are using you. And that is not the kind of company we want to be. So
Yeah.
here's some other things you can do. We have one going on right now that is super cool.
Started this morning. As
morning.
you're
Yep.
listening, we are all in the middle of it.
Yes. It's called 50 to Fit.
It's tough.
I kind of adapted it from 75 hard to begin with. But there's some certain things you can't ask people to do from 75 hard. So we just said, hey, what equals the best energy? A well-nourished body, a well-hydrated body, a body that has had space and a brain that's had space to process things, a mind and a soul that is reading and learning and challenging itself is the healthiest, most energetic soul. A body that is rid of toxins from the food and other substances we consume.
Yep.
A body that is well rested, and a body that is not distracted. So we built this 50 to Fit challenge, and it's literally a daily measurement, and it goes like this. There's 10 points possible. We give 1 point for 30 minutes of workout, an extra 2 points for an extra 30 minutes of workout. So if you work out an hour, you get 3 of the 10 points.
Yep.
If you drink your water goal, which everybody has a way to calculate that, half your body weight in ounces of water a day, another point. If you get up in the morning and do 15 minutes of either quiet time or prayer or meditation or whatever that is to you, that is something spiritual, calming, contemplative for your day, that's another point. Tracking your food. We use MyFitnessPal. Everybody tracks their food. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you ate 5 pizzas. I don't care if you ate a bag of carrots.
You have to acknowledge that you ate 5 pizzas, though, because you tracked it.
And listen, some of us are just fine eating 5 pizzas, okay?
Maybe
but
you are.
You track your food, and you take a screenshot of that at the end of the day. You cook 2 meals a day instead of going out, or have somebody else that you're not paying cook for you. That's the idea. So that's a financial / a nutrition goal and a conscious goal. So instead of swinging by Chick-fil-A for breakfast, I might eat a handful of berries and fry an egg for breakfast, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then hopefully that's making them contemplate either bringing their lunch or making dinner at home.
Yep.
And we're encouraging more time spent with cooking with family and friends, right?
Yes. Yep.
7 hours of sleep, that's self-explanatory. They get a point for that. And then it's 15 minutes a day limited on social media. So everybody has a device that can tell them how long they've been on social media, and it's just like, keep that to 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the cool part. Here's where you as a leader, here's where I am so excited that we as a company get to do this. You're checking in daily. We have a Slack channel, or you could use a text message group or an email chain or something. Everybody reports their progress daily. It's the healthy kind of accountability. No shaming whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just excited if you did good. It's, hey, you can do, it's okay if you didn't make it. Like, everybody's got things going on. But there are weekly prizes for whoever had the highest score. And at the end of this 50 days, whoever has the most points $1,000 cash prizes. And we have some smaller cash prizes for second and third place.
We need to, Nate, you need to make sure you put it like a ka-ching sound right there.
Yes.
Let's
try it again. $1,000. $1,000. $1,000. 50 to fit challenge. This has been one of my favorites we've done. We also do professionalism challenges like this, points based over a certain period of time.
Yep.
It's things like showed up to work early, read X amount of books, responded to emails by the end of the day, picked one professional skill to make a noticeable improvement on. Like there's measurements that we do that throughout the year.
Yep.
One that is awesome for us, and it's a little bit more consultative and maybe enriching a teaching experience. It's called Dream Manager. There's a book by Matthew Kelly known as the Dream Manager, and it's sitting right over here on the shelf. Sweet. You should get a copy of this. I don't care if you are the beginning, middle, end of your career. If you think things are going awesome or they're not, this will help you align your actions with the desired, the outcome that you actually want, and help you make more impact for you, your family, your friends, your surrounding, your work, and your bigger thing that you're contributing to.
Yeah.
But he also has a coaching program where there are Dream Manager certified coaches.
Yep.
And we've hired one of those to come in and teach our team the principles. There's 12 chapters, so we generally go through one a month throughout the year. His name's Bill Perkin, if you're local.
Yeah.
Or if you're not, hit us up and we can get you connected with him. But there are other Dream Manager coaches.
It's really cool to see that.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's the effect of hiring a personal, like a life coach for your team, but you're doing it in a group setting, and it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So do challenges, guys. Even the little Edgar solid rock thing we did is kind of a challenge to say who can, show excellence in the next week. Point is, you want to have an extra component that kind of intercepts with life and intercepts with passion and intercepts with just the reward and the feeling of having good camaraderie with your team.
Yeah, that's good.
Anything you would add to that, Nate, the camera guy?
I don't think so. I can say it's definitely helped me. So
5 stars from Nate the camera.
Boom.
Guy. Cool.
Yeah.
Third is
make sure each team member has a one-on-one. There is
basketball game.
They play one-on-one basketball at lunchtime. No, we've talked a lot about the group. This whole episode's about momentum. And if this is the time you can change things and it's not weird for your team.
Yeah.
That you
have a good excuse.
You have a good excuse. New year, new us. New us. You just kind of pivot it. If you're driving in right now and it's Monday morning and you're listening to this, you can call a Monday morning meeting and everybody be like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." They'll be like, "Oh, but that's the first Monday we're here together, so I guess that makes sense. Maybe he's feeling or she's feeling good about this." So
you do this middle of second quarter and they're going, "What for?"
Yeah, what's going on? There's something weird.
Yep.
So you have every excuse to make changes right now, and that's why we're talking about this right now. But more specifically, we talk about meeting together as a group. And then here we talk about meeting with each team member has a one-on-one. So in our office, we actually keep our team a little bit tighter, and we have about 12 people here in our office. I meet with every single person on a monthly basis, and I have those meetings scheduled on my calendar. They reoccur on the second Tuesday at 4 p.m. or whatever. Usually they're at the end of the day. I find I do my best work at the beginning of the day, so I reserve that time. And later in the day is more for meetings. But they come into my office. It is a time I schedule it for 30 minutes. Sometimes it goes for 45 or an hour, but it's scheduled for 30, and sometimes that's all we need. Or if we don't have time to do more, we cut it off and we move forward. But I turn on Do Not Disturb. I put my computer to sleep. I pivot my chair. The chairs in my office are behind my desk. So I pivot my chair and I look at them and give them my full attention. And that is a moment where you can be a coach, you can be a mentor, you can be a leader for these people and give them attention that they wouldn't get otherwise.
Yes.
I see everybody in our office all week long. We're rubbing elbows with each other all week long. But that doesn't mean that they get my attention.
Yes.
In this way. And in this meeting, I try to talk less than 25% of the time, if I can. And the words I'm saying, most of them are questions.
Tell me more.
Yep. How are you doing is usually the first one. How's Nate? That's usually the first question. Good. And I just let that one roll and see where it goes. I don't really know. No agenda on that.
Nate, very good.
No, not very good.
Nate, very good.
So that is such a powerful, powerful time with those people, and I can invest in them. And a lot of times what we see is I can see things from their perspective.
So important.
So very often I can be running and gunning and be like, oh, I wish they would step up in this way, or why does this thing have a hole in it?
Yep.
And come to find out it's my blind spot as a leader. And I haven't looked at it from their perspective, and they need a structure. They need a system. They need help. They need whatever.
They may even have challenges with, somebody else that's a leader in this company.
Yeah. That could be the case too. I think
a podcast host, maybe.
Oh my gosh. No, we don't. We don't go that way.
In all honesty, like one of my favorite leaders and coaches on this is Randy Mays, who's taught us so much over the years. And he talks about if there is a problem in your organization and it's a surprise to you, you failed as a leader.
Yeah.
Like people having problems just should not be like bad reviews and bad like events outside of something just a fluke, like just some outside force. People being upset should not be a surprise to you.
No, you should know that that team member was having a bad day or a bad month or
something's going on in life.
They don't have the skill polished up, and you know that they're operating at 50% and you are actively working on growing that skill, and they should know it too. That team member should.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the other part of it. My rule is I never let somebody leave my office without having been challenged in some way. And I specifically, I'll take notes if there's anything else noteworthy during that conversation, but I specifically write down that challenge. And next month when we meet again, I'm going to say, hey, how have you been doing with speaking up in meetings? Yeah. How are you doing with making sure you collaborate with your team?
Yeah,
I've noticed that
definitely.
you're a one-man band a lot of times. I want you to make sure you go and get feedback from your team. And that's the challenge for that month. And then next month, we're going to say, how'd you do with that?
Yes.
A lot better. And I can see the result and I can feel it. And so we make sure that they have a challenge. And then the other thing I'll say a lot of times, if somebody's kind of straying and they're having, we're using the word challenge a lot. If they're struggling, if they're showing up late, if they have some actual employment issues, bad attitude, if they're, whatever that is, they're not performing in the way they should be.
Yeah.
That is also an anchored time that we can visit that. I don't necessarily wait for that meeting to address things. But if it's tomorrow, I probably will. I'll probably just talk to them at that point. It's a little less scary than being like, come to my office. And they're like, that's a little, what for? And so it should not be a surprise for your employee if they're
underperforming.
When they're underperforming. Yep. They should not be waiting for their annual review or a quarterly review even to know whether or not they're doing a good job. They should know exactly where they stand pretty much at all times. And that is why we have this anchored one-on-one every single month with every team member.
Yep. To be kind is to be clear.
Yes.
To be clear is to be kind.
Mm-hmm.
So a courageous conversation is what my buddy Tom Douglas calls that. And it's just like, man, if that scares you or if that stresses you out, level up and realize that you are doing everybody a favor. Mm-hmm. And by letting somebody continue in a bad pattern, it's not serving them because they either have false reality that they're doing the right thing, which is not kind, or they are taking advantage of you and your team members by knowingly doing it because they think you won't call them on it, and that is also not kind.
Yeah, it's not fair to everybody else in the organization.
Yep. So have the courage, do those things, and Caleb's so right. It's so much easier when that's already in pace and that's not extra stressful. Like there's a flow and a momentum even inside your process here that creates that expectation.
It naturally happens. The other thing I noticed leaders, we talk to a lot of business leaders, and a lot of things me included, right? You end up in this place where you're like, oh, all these things land on my plate. I feel like if I'm not involved in this, I'm the one who has to finish it up, who has to do this stuff. When you are actively investing this time in challenging people to grow past where they are, it pays off in that they rise to the occasion and they're able to take those things from you that you've been holding on to, right?
Yes.
These are your, I hate the word like direct reports, right? These are the people that report to you, and they need to know exactly what you expect of them, and they need to hear that, and you need to call them up to that place. Otherwise, those things will land on your desk.
You know what? They'll respect you more.
Yeah.
And like, even if it's hard, even if you're just like pouring salt in their wound, or if you're being a hair in their cereal bowl, as our friend Megan likes to say.
Oh gosh.
Eventually you will get the respect, and your company and your culture will get the respect for being the vehicle that took them to a higher level.
Yeah.
Heard it said one time, leadership is taking somebody where they want to go, but wouldn't have necessarily gone on their own. My friend Brian McDonough said that, actually.
That's really good.
And so good. So be the one that takes them where they want to go.
Yeah.
Anything you'd add to this?
The only last thought I would say is this probably works for about a dozen people. I wouldn't say that you could actively meet with many more than that. And that point, you have, I would say you have middle managers, and you are actively meeting with them. The 2 pizza rule. Yep, 2 pizzas.
You're going to have to stretch and do it for probably the next 4 or 5. You might be doing this with 18 people.
Yes.
But conquer and divide. So if at times where we've been heavier on team count, I'll take some of them.
Yes.
And Caleb does some of them.
Yeah.
But you need to have somebody on your team that for every 12 to 14 people, and the Jeff Bezos rule is by the time you can't feed them with 2 pizzas, you need another leader. But this person needs to know what's going on in their life, what's exciting them, what are they pursuing, what's their next big dream. You need to know their kids' names, their dogs' names, what are they doing this last weekend, where do they go to church, what are they trying to make happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of our friends listening have
50, 100, 50 to 200
people. Yeah. And it's like, just make sure, get together with your, I hate the term middle managers, but get together with your leaders.
A better way to say
they're
it.
leaders. Just your leaders. There's leaders and followers and soldiers and all that stuff. But
you should be modeling it for those leaders.
You model it for them. You do it with your 6 leaders. They do it for their 10 soldiers apiece. And then life is good. And then any bigger problems that can rise to the top that you need to help them address is better. So my friend Rich Carlton is so good at this.
Yeah, he is.
So guys, this is pouring into your people. You want to have momentum, you have to create momentum. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. You're coming together every week as a team. You're going through challenges together, keeping something exciting. You're making sure each team member has a one-on-one that levels everybody on the same thing, pushes everybody to a higher level, and protects against anybody going below a certain level. And you're just doing that, notching up, climbing that ladder. That's what we all want to do.
Yeah.
This is what builds good companies. This is what builds good people. You have anything to add to that?
No. I was going to add to the end here, because I have 2 things I want to say before we start signing off. One, if you're new, if you're one of those new subscribers, and you have not gotten a copy of The Maven Marketer, it's Brandon's book on all things marketing. We don't really hide our secrets. We share them with everybody, and that's what we're doing here.
If you choose to do it without us, you certainly can.
You certainly can.
Every secret's in the book.
You can find this on Amazon. Just search The Maven Marketer. Mm-hmm. We'll have it in the show notes if you do want to grab a copy of that.
We talk about vision, values, and vows, which is very relevant to today's conversation.
Yes.
You heard us talk about our values. Like, you want to have that sort of thing, we teach it in chapter 19 and 20.
Yep. Second thing, if you're not on our email newsletter list, we send out every Monday and every Friday, we send an email out. And this is where you get updates on these episodes, but then you also get a lot of relevant extra content. Yep. And then frankly, Friday is more of an inspiring, uplifting thing. And so I would encourage you to go to frankandmaven.com. You can put your email address in there. If you want to,
you'll get all the stuff.
Yeah, it's good. So
it's free. We'll never do anything except for help you grow your business, eliminate waste in advertising, and achieve the big dream.
Yeah.
And that is where we're going to leave it. We'll be back here every Monday answering your real life marketing questions, because marketers who can't teach you why
are just a fancy lie.
Have a great week.